All right, so here we are, December 30th, and our pattern change is underway. So we're going to take a quick look at that and then look at some specific snowstorm threats coming down the pike here. So this is the 500 millibar map from Friday, and what you can see is ridging in the eastern part of the United States and a big trough there in the western part of North America. Now let's go ahead to today, and we can see our pattern changing. So this is now Monday, and what we see is ridging now starting to build up in western North America, and that's just going to continue to build and build. So here we are at the beginning of the pattern change now. Now, if you're in the eastern part of the United States, it's going to take a couple days for you to actually feel the effects of that pattern change, but it is changing as we speak. So put this into motion. So as we go into Tuesday, you see those heights just continue to build in western North America, and that's what's just going to displace the cold air and send it south into the United States. And it's going to be here for a long time, it looks like, at least a few weeks. And what we also see is that ridging building into the NAO region. So you have a negative NAO building, and that is a pretty big ingredient for some East Coast snowstorms. So the pattern is going to look very favorable going forward for not only cold, but potential snowstorms. So we'll take a look at that. So we just continue to put this into motion. You can see that pattern now really taking hold, and it only gets better. So this is now January 7th, January 8th, and you see, look at that big ridge out west. Big trough in the east, 50-50 low there. Beautiful NAO there with the ridging over Greenland, backing in towards Baffin Island and into the Hudson Bay. And really, quite honestly, like if you were to give me a blank map and tell me to draw a perfect snowstorm pattern, I don't know if I could draw it up better than this. Now, obviously, yes, we've had good patterns in the past that haven't produced big snowstorms in the east, but this is about as good as it looks, right? You still need those pieces of energy to come together. Where's the gradient set up? All those things still need to kind of come together just right to produce a big snowstorm. But having that negative NAO and that big ridge out west is really, really an ideal setup if you like big snowstorms in the east. And with such a deep trough there and big ridge, I mean, even down into the southeast where snowstorms are somewhat rare, it's pretty good looking pattern. And then really just kind of continues to the end of the run. This is now going into mid-January. There's January 14th, and it's just kind of keeps that good look. And I think with the MJO and favorable phases, we're going to keep that look going probably until 25th, maybe something like that. We'll have to see what happens after that. That's still a long ways out, but this pattern is looking pretty good here. So let's actually pop over to the European. We'll talk about some specific threats here. So here is today's map. And then what we'll see is, as we go into New Year's Eve, low pressure cutting up into the Ohio Valley. Tries to transfer to the East Coast. A little bit too late, doesn't really get going, bringing a whole lot of cold air down, but some light snow on the back side of that in the interior Northeast. And then we're going to turn our attention into the central part of the United States. And we see at low pressure, this is now Sunday, we see low pressure gathering there across the central part of the United States. And because of that blocking, that negative NAO, that blocking that we have up in the North Atlantic and to Northeast Canada, that's not going to cut north. It's just going to kind of cut east, as you can see there, and just kind of slides off the coast. So this is now within a week of this forming, right? So this is Sunday, so this is less than a week away. A pretty good stripe of snow from eastern Kansas through Missouri, through the Ohio Valley, and into the Mid-Atlantic. Even places like Richmond on the European get snow in this, and pretty significant. Looks like lay down 6 to 8 inches in parts of Virginia. Snow up into Philadelphia, New York, places that haven't seen a whole lot of snow yet this year. Looks like that could be changing. So it's going to be really interesting to see what the European does with the storm over the next couple of days. But this is now getting within range where I think it's safe to say we have our first threats. We'll see where we go from here with that one. And then as we go forward in the European, look what it does in the south. Look at that Texas. Look at that snow down pretty deep down into Texas there. As that Arctic boundary really sinks south. I mean, look at that. That's snowstorm there for Texas. And I think the Southeast is going to really watch this with the cold front, with that boundary sitting pretty far to the south and east. Low pressure forming, which some of the models are showing there, throws up enough moisture into that cold air. You could have a snowstorm, kind of like, well, not kind of, but 1973, right? The Great Southeastern Snowstorm. That's what you need to get a big snowstorm in that part of the country. Right, and models are indicating that is a possibility. I'll just go to the GFS real quick, just to show you. It's kind of storm after threat on the GFS. Now, some of this is pretty deep into the long range here, but just kind of shows you that pattern. Look at that storm form right there, another one on its heels. So there's gonna be lots of storms and lots of threats, I think, in this type of pattern. We'll have to see how they come together to see who gets snow and how much snow that we'll get, but we're just entering in that pattern now, so you have to be a little bit patient, right, if you like snow. But I think our first threat's coming up late this weekend into early next week. That's it for today. Thanks for watching.